voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Easton Park Talk. I'm here with Tarah New of Tarah New and the Crew, and we're going to talk about the business and music today. Tarah New is part of an incredible band. She's very talented and has a lot to talk about and a big story. So why don't you kind of give us like a brief overview of maybe just your time in Austin, and then we'll talk about LA after that.
Okay, sure. So I'm originally from Corpus Christi, and then I moved to LA for a while, and now I'm in Austin for the last year and a half, or going on 2 years. And in the last year, I met my awesome bandmates, and we put a band together called Tarah New and the Crew. And we are a blues, rock and roll, soul band. Blues, soul, rock and roll. So think like Johnny Cash, a little bit of Elvis, a little mixed in with, I don't know, something more modern.
It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, your music, especially like your original music, is it's so good, and it's so like, I don't know, I love listening to it. But my favorite cover is Jolene.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. Yeah.
And you do this like, I don't know what you do to it, but it's like, it's awesome. It gives me goosebumps every time I hear it.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you like it. Yeah. The original stuff, the 3 a.m. songs.
Yeah. Like, how does it work? How is a song born?
Totally. Okay. So, well, I'll hear a song in my head. As weird as that sounds, like I'll hear the music in my head and down to like the bass line, the drums, the melody line, and I'll play what my bandmates like to call musical charades, and I will hum or bang on my leg, or it's kind of like this, and I can hear this, and I'll hum it, and they're like kind of like this. I'm like, yeah, close, but a little bit more, minor or whatever, and then they'll like this, like yeah, like that, and then we'll slowly like build layer by layer the song, and it'll come to life, and I'm like, this is what I heard in my head, because I don't play any instruments fluently.
Okay.
I play a little guitar, a little keyboard, not well.
Okay.
But enough to kind of like get around an idea, to give them an idea. But yeah, so musical charades is
I love that.
how the music is created.
That's so cool. It's got to be like such a level of trust with your bandmates to be able to like, and vulnerability.
Oh yeah.
I heard this song in my head. Mm-hmm. Help me create it.
Right. This is one of my 3 a.m. in my feels songs. So it's constant therapy, basically. Like making music. The other day was funny because we met for band practice randomly on a Monday because our schedules were different. We couldn't meet at our regular time, which is usually like Tuesdays at 5:30.
Okay.
So it was like a Monday at like 8 p.m. So just think about how you feel like on a Monday at 8 p.m.
Yeah, like sleepy.
After a very long day of work and whatever else you're doing. So we both like kind of sluggishly like walked in the door for band practice, and then we started doing the music, and we were barely like even joking. Like we're like a bunch of kids, we'll joke around with each other and whatever, but we're kind of, you could tell everyone was pretty drained. And then we start doing the music, and I'm looking around and I'm looking at my bandmates, and I know how I'm feeling, and our vibe is literally just like getting higher. We're getting a little bit more like, this is kind of fun, guys. And we're doing music, and then by the end of this 2-hour long session, we're so hyper. We're like basically skipping out the door and like joking with each other, and it raised our vibe, and it's amazing because like, that's just how I know we're all like artists and musicians, because that's what our medicine is. Our music is our medicine.
It's where your energy comes from.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then like, it's got to be so cool too. And I think that like, you hear about bands breaking up, and I think that most people are like, whatever, they broke up. But I think that's a huge breakup. Like if a band is like,
it's like losing family members,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just know my cousin Ryan Honish is in a band called Swing with Bears, and the band, we call them the Bears, the other Bears. Yeah, the Bears. They Steve used to call them when they lived together. He used to call them Bert and Ernie and Ernie and Ernie, because like anyway. Nice. But they've become family to even us. Like the Bears were invited to Thanksgiving yesterday because just in case, because and they like, but those guys, they're well into their 30s. They know each other.
Yeah.
The songs, they all have written songs that's all about girlfriends and family and pain and love and
Life.
the life, but the
Yeah.
deep life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And they, those guys, it is family. If something happened with one of those guys, like I would be okay. So they had a situation where one of the lead guitarists, Alec, left. He went to go back home to Houston, love of his life. They were getting married and he's like, guys, I'm not gonna be able to do both, you know? And he moved on in his life.
Yeah.
And it was a dark day for many days.
I bet.
They were sad.
Yeah. I bet you'd go through like a grieving process.
Yeah.
It would be like a family member leaves the family.
Yeah. Like,
what do we do now?
Packs his bags. It's a little like, I'm imagining like a stick. You know, the
Like
cartoon.
a cartoon.
Like, bye guys. He's running away. Yeah. But it's like, and now they have Super Dave, which is excellent. But it would imagine, because it's just such a music when it's good, is vulnerable. And it's deep.
You do become like a family, you know, like, and in the short time that we've been together, they already feel like my brothers. Like they're definitely my best friends.
Yeah.
They're pretty much my only social life because I'm a workaholic and I don't really get out much. So our band practices are like our friend time, and we're all doing something we love. And no, they're the best.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boys.
Yeah. Okay. So can you tell us about them? Like, who is Tarah New and the crew?
So, okay. Well, hi, I'm Tarah New. And the crew is
the crew.
And the crew is we've got so that's a picture. So we've got David is on the far left, and he's our guitarist. He also teaches guitar, and I met them all, by the way, at open mic at the Hive.
Oh, cool.
On Menchaca.
Very cool.
On Manchac, right? Yeah. So I started going there, and that's where I made my first friends and everything when I was brand new to Austin.
Yeah.
And I was kind of secretly scouting for my future bandmates. I didn't tell anybody that, but I was like, oh, he plays really well.
Okay.
I liked the style that he's playing because I knew I wanted to do blues and rock and roll and like a little bit of folk, a little bit of soul mixed in.
Yeah.
So I saw David and I was like, okay, I know he knows his stuff because he literally teaches it.
Yeah.
And he knows all kinds of styles, and he's a very talented guitarist. And then Luigi's next. He's the bass player, and he is my spirit animal. He's just so fun and like always good vibes, always positive. Like, I freaking love him. And he's a very talented bassist too. Super organized, always prepared, always like, I just can't say enough about him. He's awesome. And he's the youngest one out of all of us.
Okay.
But he's very responsible. He's like the dad of the group, even though he's the youngest.
Okay.
And then we've got Greg on the far right of that other picture.
Of the other photo.
And he is an extremely talented drummer. And he's got a lot of experience. He's been on tour before and different.
Oh, cool.
Like we've all, I don't know if we've all been on tour. I've been on like mini tours. He's been on tour. Greg, but yeah, super talented. And he's also a producer too. So we'll talk about ideas for how the song can go, the feel of the song, how things, and he'll put out all these great ideas of like, oh, I can kind of hear this, or the producer in me's hearing this. And we all talk about it and like, well, let's play it and let's see how it sounds. So we do have like a good rapport with each other, and it's a safe space to talk about our creative ideas, or I kind of hear this, or, you know, I'm not like just the dictator of the band. Like I want their input because they're all very talented and experienced. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we're a family, I'm telling you.
Well, it together, like when you all play together. Well, and even in the middle there, like when you and the guitarist, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name.
No.
What's your guitarist's name?
David Lester,
David,
guitarist.
Yeah, when y'all were here, you were in our living room playing, and he is a vibe himself. Like,
hello, I am Tarah New, and we are half of Tarah New and the crew. This is David Lester, and we're going to be performing our version of "Sleeping on the Blacktop." I hope you like it. Sunshine beating on the good times, moonlight racing from the grave.
String band playing worn out honky tonks, pretty young thing going dancing in the rain.
He like speaks with his guitar.
Yeah.
It's really like unique.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how do you describe that? Like, because it's almost like his guitar is saying words.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so cool.
No, I knew he would be an amazing addition to the band for that exact reason, because I can hear things in my head that I want to come out of his guitar, and then in my weird language, he'll understand me. So thank God for that.
Awesome.
And then he'll do his David Lester-ness to it.
Cool.
And I'm like, yeah, perfect, amazing, done.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
y'all
he's
are.
great.
It's really fun to watch y'all live too, because it's just y'all. You can just tell you all like each other, and
Yeah, you could. I think that comes through, and I think then
Yeah.
the audience gets to be part of our little family.
yeah,
With our banter.
3 dead and the crash on the number 4. 2 witnesses blowing up high. I'm not sure whose will be done. You can call me a sinner for wondering why. Hey, darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey, darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey, darling, leaving for the next town. Lest my sins catches up with me.
yeah.
With our banter and our ridiculousness, and then it's
Yeah.
like fun for everybody. I would hope.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about so all of y'all, you're in the band, Tarah and the crew,
Yes.
and you all have jobs during the day. Like, what is
Yes.
just talking about like the
Yes.
business of music and entrepreneurship? Like, what is that? What is that like?
So it's a whole situation. It's kind of like having several jobs, but only one of them pays you.
Yeah.
And the one that pays you use that money to invest in the ones that don't really pay as much, because like music has drastically changed as a business
Yeah.
in the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like we can sell a physical CD. I mean, we can,
Sure.
but not people aren't really using CD players anymore. They're
Yeah.
just streaming it from their phones.
Right.
They're streaming it off Spotify. So streams are very different when it comes to how much money you make, as opposed to buying a physical CD. I mean, you used to get a CD for like $15-20,
Right.
And so a chunk of that money goes to the artist.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I think a stream, every time somebody streams my song one time, I think I get 0.0001 cent or
No
something
way.
like that. It is a fraction of a penny. Yeah. So it is so different.
And how long do they have to listen for you to get even that? Is there like, it's like they just click play and then you are paid even if it's almost nothing?
So you've got like a PRO, performing rights organization, that will keep track of like your royalties and what you're owed when it comes to that. So I'm with ASCAP, and so after a certain amount of time, they'll be like, okay, this is how much money you've made for like 100 streams or 1,000 streams or however much.
many.
And it's like, yeah, a buck too. I mean,
Thanks.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Gonna help with my rent.
buy half a piece of gum with this.
Picture perfect memories scattered all around the floor. Reaching for the phone 'cause I can't fight it anymore. And I wonder if I ever cross your mind. For me it happens all the time.
Yeah. Can't even supersize for that. So I've been along with every other musician, trying to think of outside of the box ways for music to actually make money. So I mean, even live performances, see 0.003 cents per stream, depending on where they're played.
It's so crazy.
So it's quite a difference as far as selling the music itself. So then it's like, all right, well, where am I going to make my money from music? if at all. And it's okay, you've got shows, which a lot of venues aren't paying that much. You know, it's like you got to sell your tickets, and then they take their cut for the person who's doing the sound. They take their cut for it, and rightly so. I mean, everyone should get paid for their time, but it's just like, okay, maybe we walk away from a show with like $20 each, you know, and this is like hours of rehearsals. This is, you know, getting, what are we going to wear, coordinating, like, what to say in between songs. You have to love it. I mean, you definitely have to love it, but it's also like, I've gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, I can't rely on music to pay my rent anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so I have to think of, okay, what's my day job? And then do the music because I love the music, not because it's a stressful thing that I have to figure out how to make money and make my business and because then that's what kills the creativity. Because then you're like, oh, you're just stressed all the time and you're just in this grind and you're just trying to like survive. Yeah. I'm like, that's not where my best songs are going to come out of. Right. Just stress. Like, no. So I've realized lately I have to compartmentalize. I have to be like, okay, this is my job, which I actually love my job. And there's actually a lot of crossover between the music world and my job because I have to work these events. So I do event bartending. Even though I don't drink anymore, so I sling it. I don't drink it, but it gives me access to these events and a lot of different people that are into like going to live music shows or wanting to be a part of what we're doing as a band. So I'll hand out my cards like, oh, here's a drink, here's my card, here's the check out Tarah and the Crew, check out our next show. So I'm just always promoting, in work mode. But so it's a great job. So I've got that regular job, even though it's not full time, and I'm able to make my own schedule, which is huge. Especially when it comes to the creative life. And then any money I make with music, like say we make $100 for a show or something, then I just reinvest it back into music. So it's business cards or it's merch, designing T-shirts, which I'm working on right now. And that's the other thing we can actually make money off if we sell merch. But you know,
and do you design it?
I'm actually working on a design right now. You have to. That's the other thing. So many hats. All of the hats. All of the hats.
Marketing, the writing, the creative.
Part-time lawyer. I mean, you there's so many things I'm learning. But it is empowering, you know. And I have people now. I have friends, and I've built. I can't believe how fast it happened to build a community in Austin of just awesome people, talented people who genuinely like want to be part of my team. You know, we're a team together. We help each other. You know, I mean, just what we're doing right now. Like, we're gonna cross promote this. I'm gonna, you know, tell everyone and their mother about Easton Park TV as I have been. You know, and you guys are so supportive about the music scene. Like, it's all just that exchange. Of Austin's genuine friendship.
And I think Austin's kind of, we were talking about this the other day with someone on the podcast. I think it was, honestly, I don't remember who it was, and I'm sorry about that, but we're talking about just like Austin itself is such a hub for entrepreneurs. And I think there's so Tony Campbell is a Grammy Award nominated musician who lives here in Austin. Amazing. And his wife was actually, this is a Brookfield community, and his wife worked here for a while, and Tony is just like, and he's a good friend of ours. And he started on LinkedIn a couple of years ago, and he's like, I'm going to start putting songs on LinkedIn because this is my business. And Austin itself is, and people were like, and people, I was like, absolutely, this is your business. This is entrepreneurship. This is just what you do. And totally. Austin is such a not weird, beautiful, but I mean, Austin's weird.
Keep Austin weird.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm here for you, Austin.
It's like entrepreneurship and creativity. And then music is huge here. And there's just, it feels like such a creative community for like in supportive community for people who are doing their own thing. And it's just like, you're never going to walk into a place in Austin. I would say maybe not never, but you're almost never going to walk into a place in Austin and do what you do and have people be like, I don't I don't support that. Like, it's just a supportive community
Right.
as a whole, I think, at least in my experience.
I notice it like night and day whenever I moved here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I love LA in its own ways.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I got here, it was so easy for me to make friends that were genuine, like super fast, and a lot of them.
Yeah.
And to have a community of musicians who genuinely want each other to succeed. They're not like, well, let me rip and claw you down so I can get to the top. And it's not like business competition as much as it is community.
Corn liquor tastes sweeter in this town. Could it be it's the same as the last? I swear I've seen your face elsewhere before, just as familiar as a bottle in a glass. Hey, darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey, darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey, darling, leaving for the next town, unless my sins catches up with me. Hey, darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey, darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey, darling, leaving for the next town, unless my sins catches up with me.
Genuine, like,
support
and love for each other. And I felt like when I moved here, like this huge weight just kind of got lifted off of me, and I just felt like I'm home.
Yeah.
You know? And also, like, my family's here, so that was huge. I'd been away from them for so many years living in LA, so it was time, and it was perfect that they lived in Austin. I was like, okay, next chapter of the music life, like, let's turn the page.
I love that. Austin's so cool. I love Austin.
I love Austin.
Tell me about LA. Like, what? So you were, well, actually, let's go back even further. Like, I didn't know you were from Corpus.
I'm from Corpus.
Yeah. I lived in Corpus for a little bit. I went to school there for just a little while after high school. And it was fun. I feel like anytime I go back to, like every time I go back to Corpus, though, it's like 1993. Like, it's never changed.
Really?
You know? Yeah.
I haven't been back in a long time, so I don't know what's
it's
going on. It's
probably exactly
there,
the same when you left.
Maybe I haven't missed much. Okay.
Yeah. So, like, did you grow up there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So my mom actually met Selena.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was there at her grand opening of her little boutique.
No
Shook
way.
her hand and everything. Yeah, like shortly before we lost her. So that was kind of crazy. Yeah. Corpus is, that's where I was born, raised a little bit, and then I did the rest of my growing up in LA.
Okay.
Which was such a culture shock.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. But I basically moved from one beach to another beach.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've ever not lived by a beach, which
wild.
I'm so used to having access to an ocean. So, but there's lots of
the river.
Yeah, rivers and stuff around. So
lake.
Yeah, and then small price to pay because everyone here is awesome.
Yeah.
Including you guys.
Oh my goodness. What about so tell me about LA. Like how old were you when you moved to LA?
Well, I don't want people doing too much math here.
Okay.
But yeah, I was still in school when I moved to LA, and I was moving for music and also acting. Believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So acting, music, a little bit of modeling, but it was always music. That was the reason. So I wanted to build a career and become a famous singer.
Yeah.
And then, I was like, oh, this takes work. This takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
I talk about LA as it was like going to work I lived there for 17 years.
Okay.
Which was about 16 too many, but
fair enough.
it was like going to work for 17 years and then finally coming home.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're always in work mode. Everything is career oriented. Everyone who moves there is like, all right, let's do this career and let's be successful and let's do all the things. And you're always in business mode. Like you're always networking. You're always. And so I would make friends, and then it would be more like, okay, what can you do to help me with my career? And I'm not actually interested in our friendship unless my career can get some boost out of it, sort of thing. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer,
It is kind of a bummer.
But there's also words on the screen.
Yeah. Distracting.
I'm like, this ADD brain is like something different.
Yeah, squirrel.
Squirrel. But yeah, no, I mean, that aside, I loved LA for a lot of reasons, and it definitely made me the person I am today. So I'm very self-disciplined in a lot of ways when it comes to how I want to continue to progress my
Yeah.
career in my music. I got a very tough skin living out there because
Sure.
I mean, all my growing up happened in LA. All the firsts happened in LA.
Yeah.
All the first like the innocence that I had when I moved from Corpus to LA,
Sure.
you know, and then realizing like, oh, you know, that there was things where I was like, I was in acting and I was looking for an agent. I was trying to get into commercials. And there was these moments where I was like, all right, hey, you're some sleazy guy. Like, you help me, I'll help you.
Aw,
Wink, wink. And
gross.
I'm creep. Well, I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here.
I swear I could have been so famous so long ago if my morals were like different and I had no integrity.
Yeah.
You know, like, and there's a lot of people that do that, you know,
Sure.
but no judgment, whatever. But I was just like, okay, so there's this whole side to humanity that
Yeah.
I hadn't been exposed to until I lived in LA. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
It's
people
kind of
can
like, who do
be-
you want to sell your soul to?
Right. And I was like, I kind of want to keep it for myself. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to, you know, do that and not be in the big Hollywood production movie because it was a casting couch situation. And I said,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it wasn't all that. There were some good ones in there,
Of
but you really
course.
had to weed them out. And then sometimes you'd think you found a good one and then they'd get weird on you and you're like, oh, well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a mixed bag
Do you think that
in LA for sure.
we talked about it a little bit before we started filming, but like, do you think it's the same for men in those situations?
No. I mean, I think there's probably some crossover, but
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, I'm the guys that I was friends with back in LA had different issues, you know.
Sure.
But there wasn't a whole lot of that kind of.
Yeah.
There's different sleazy stuff, you know. But,
Sure. Yeah. It's just kind of like, I don't know. And again, we talked about it earlier. It's just like, and I think that I'm really kind of excited for like womanhood at the moment is that women are like, we're proud about being strong and we're proud about having boundaries. And I feel like, at least the first time in my life that I've noticed, but it seems to be this kind of universal thing that like we all have each other's backs. Like women are like, we got, you know, it's like, oh yeah, like very supportive. Like it doesn't feel like there's as many like mean girl situations.
competing with each other
Yeah,
anymore.
it's like lifting each other up and
Yeah.
being really supportive. And I think that that's
I think we realize it's necessary.
it's the only way to survive this
survival.
wild
Like,
world.
hey, ladies, we gotta stop fighting with each other and start working together because you know
Yeah.
otherwise things are gonna stay the way they
And it's
have
kind
been.
of cool. Like I grew up around a
empowering.
bunch of like I had brothers and boy cousins and I don't know, like it was always hard to make girlfriends. I felt like
Uh-huh.
I don't know. But like it doesn't feel like that anymore, which I'm really excited about.
I've noticed that same thing because I was definitely more of a tomboy growing up. I was
Same.
always the girl playing football with the boys,
Yeah.
and the girls were on the side like painting their nails or something, and I was just like, that sounds boring to me. Like I want to run
Yeah.
around with the football.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so I was generally always more so friends with guys.
Mhm.
And then a lot of times, I definitely encountered a lot of mean girl situations in school too.
Yeah.
That girls were just mean to me for no reason. I was
Yeah.
like, bro, I was
They're
trying to
just-
be your friend. Like,
Yeah, they're just jealous.
I'm just like, wow, whatever it was, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I was just nice to everybody, you know, and then so I was like, all right, well, I like that guys were just what you see is what you get for the most part. There
Yeah.
wasn't all these other little layers underneath
Yeah,
the
many
surface.
layers of
Yeah.
all the things.
Men are a little more
Easy.
simple.
Simple. Yeah. Yeah.
In a good way.
yeah, in a really good way.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of what you see is what you
Which
get.
is- yeah, and I'm like, that's how I am. I'm, you know,
Yeah.
so, but I have noticed that shift lately. Like,
Yeah.
us women, we're just like propping each other up, and we're
Yes.
kind of on the same team. We're not competing over guys or stupid
Maybe
waste
we just
of
got
time
older.
bullshit.
Like I think we're about the same age, and like,
Yeah.
and maybe it's that like as women at this point in our lives where we're just like,
maturity, I
it's
guess.
not worth it. I just want to be like friends and support and like, it's not, I mean, if we're competing for each other's men at this age, like I roll.
Seriously, well, I guess you're still in high school. Have fun staying there. We're gonna be grown-ups in the grown-up world.
Yeah, and just like supporting each other, especially as entrepreneurs. And I think that that's kind of something that like we've talked about a lot. Is that it's really like anymore like I really love working with women, and I like the way that like men are simple to communicate with because it just is what you see, what you get. But like with women, I think that we understand each other's like overtones and undertones and kind of reading between the lines,
The details,
yeah. And I think just guys don't get it. But I really enjoy working with women now, and I used to not as like in my younger professional years because it was just like, oh, there's so many words, there's so much talking. Let's just like get things done. And now as I've gotten older, like I understand. I'm like, oh, the details are really important, and what they're saying and what they're feeling is really important because I think men, while most of them as they get older become less stunted in their emotions, you know what I mean? Is that like everything that they're doing is based on like their feelings.
I feel like the man in the room has things to
No, actually the reason I married Mr. Moss, like Steve is like a big proponent of like strong women. And
I can tell actually because that's how I first met him. I was like, all right, he's one of the cool ones.
Yeah, no, he is. Like he is, and he's like Steve really does like.
I'm gonna need you guys to say that for a clip.
Wait, that Steve is
He's like, I need a record of this.
Yeah, y'all said it. It's on.
Steve's one of the cool ones.
Steve is one of the cool ones. That's why I married him. He's a big supporter of strong women. He like, there's never been like gender things with Steve. Like he's always just like, well, he's like about strong people, and I think that that's really cool. But but in professions like,
Dude.
my co-founder, wife, and partner said,
women.
he does. No, he does, and like, and even like, I don't care where anyone falls politically, but like, Steve is definitely like a supporter of women and everything that's going on right now, and
Nice.
I don't know that I could be married to someone who wasn't. You know what I mean? Like,
Because have you noticed I am a woman, so I feel like I would love to be married to someone who actually supports me.
right? Like,
I mean,
it's
the little things in life.
just the little things of your life partner, you know, you really want to pick. But like, I think it is important. And I do think it's beautiful that women are supporting each other because they're not. And I would imagine, I have no idea, but in the industry that you're in, where it is very like image focused, and because like we talked about earlier, you can write the most amazing song.
Right.
But like they're talking about what you look like.
Right. Or what
What's
you're
that?
wearing. Or
Yeah.
what's her
Or
hair
what's
doing
your hair
today?
look like? Or
Exactly.
Like
I'm
her
like, that's
eyeliner is
focusing
fun.
on the wrong thing.
Yeah. So talk me through what that's like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we were talking about that earlier as far as like the double standard of age and looks and certain things that people I think will focus in on more so in women than men when it comes to like, I'm just trying to sing a song. I'm just trying to deliver this story to the world that came from my heart at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not saying people are focused on this, but I feel the societal pressure of like, oh, she's looking a little whatever, you know, her hair she looks tired, or she looks a little older, or she looks
The she looks tired thing. You're like,
do not tell
shut.
me.
Don't tell
ever.
any. Dude, never tell a woman she looks tired.
Public
ever.
service announcement real quick.
Be smart. Keep your thoughts to yourself.
Yeah, you look tired. Why would you ever? Anyway.
Yeah.
And I am often tired because I work very hard. Okay.
Yes.
And you know, so yeah, there is this double standard I've noticed, and I'm like, I just want to put like a paper bag over my head or something and be like, okay, now just listen to the music.
Yeah.
Because that's all I freaking care about is delivering the music to the people. And this is the vessel for the music to deliver it to the people. And I've known that this is the thing that I was meant to do with my life since I was 2, 3.
What?
You asked me when I was that little, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I would always say a singer, because I just, like, I knew it from birth what I was here to do.
So cool.
I love
It's
that.
so cool. It
I
gives me
love
goosebumps,
Yeah.
actually.
It's just always been in my heart. Like I've just always known it, you know.
Yeah. Do your like mom and dad, brother, like sing? Nobody?
Nobody in my family or extended family is a musician.
Really?
Yeah, the weird alien one that just like popped into existence. Like, okay, I'm here to do a job, and it's music. And yeah,
That's so cool. When did you like? When did you or your family like know that you could? Because you have an incredible voice. Like it's
Thank you.
if you haven't heard Tarah New sing, like you should stop watching this podcast right now and like go look up
come
Tarah
back
New
to
and the
it.
Crew. Yeah, come back. But, like go
Probably
listen.
Instagram would be the best.
Yeah, go check out our Instagram.
It's got all the things.
But when like who knew like at what point in your life were you like, oh, I have a gift?
I just always loved music, but it was people that started to tell me that I was good at it, or you know, singing.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, okay, well maybe there's something here, you know. And my parents, bless their beautiful souls, have been supportive the entire time. They weren't
Awesome.
like, Tarah, you know, being an artist isn't going to make enough money, so be a lawyer instead. They didn't try to dissuade me from what was in my heart. And so from that young age, they were very supportive. They put me in singing lessons.
Oh, cool.
I had private singing lessons throughout elementary school.
Oh, young.
Oh, yeah. I started from the beginning. And I was in church choir, school choir, all of the choirs. And yeah, so they were super. And the thing is, like, we were talking about, I don't know, before we were rolling, about being that I'm more of an introvert. I'm not like craving the spotlight. I actually, it's going against every instinct that I have to put myself in the spotlight.
Sure.
But I feel there's this urgency of like delivering the music and getting these stories out, that it goes beyond, all right, my own personal comfort, and do the thing that's hard because it's the right thing to do in my heart.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think I was like 3 or 4, and I kept saying I wanted to be a singer, and they were supportive the whole time. They put me in singing lessons, and I was actually in guitar lessons for like 2 weeks, and then it's kind of morbid, but the guitar teacher passed.
Oh no.
And we never picked that back up. So I am, as of now, starting to learn guitar a little late, but I was like 8 years old, and my dad was reading the obituaries, and he's like,
That's how you found out? Oh no.
my dad's like, hey, didn't you have guitar lessons next week? And I was like, yeah. He's like, not anymore. I don't even remember this poor guy's name. It was a long time ago. Bless his heart, I don't. But yeah, so, and then after that, I didn't get back into it. But I digress. That was just to tell you they were very supportive in music.
I never picked up a guitar ever again.
I was like, I killed him. Oh my God. It's all my fault. I stressed him out because I didn't learn it fast enough. My hands were too small and it hurt my fingers. I gave the poor man a heart attack.
He went to bed worried about your guitar playing skills and never woke up.
In my like 7-year-old brain, that's when. Oh my God, this poor guy.
Well, R.I.P.
Rest in peace. I don't remember your name, but rest in peace.
He knows
Mr.
we're talking
Guitar
about it. He's probably smiling down on us right now. Mostly.
He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep him crying when he calls your name, Jolie. And I can easily understand you could easily take my man, but you don't know what it means to me, Jolie.
It's mostly you.
You'd be proud of me though. I have been teaching myself guitar every night. I got calluses to prove it. But
Hey,
it's clunky, but it's enough to work with, so I can tell my bandmates what's going on in my head.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
R.I.P. I hope he's resting well. I don't know what to say. Okay, so
we're not laughing at you. We're laughing
we're
with you. So.
With you. Hopefully, he had a great sense of humor, and he thinks it's funny too.
Sorry, my ADD brain goes on these tangents, and I'm like, wait, what was the original question?
No, I'm with you. My Aunt Linda and I were talking
Guitar
about that.
teacher.
Like when you start with someone else, and I think especially with women, is like, oh wait, this tangent, it's really important to the story. Let's just talk
We're
about
talking
it
about
for a
details,
second.
right? So that's where men really come in handy because they're like, all right, let's focus, let's action, let's do the
Yeah,
thing.
bring you
I'm
back.
like, but these details are important, and I'm gonna layer them in, and then I get lost in the details. Like, wait, what were we doing again?
Yeah, you're like, my guitar teacher. That's so funny. Your dad was like, don't you have guitar lessons next
Not
week?
anymore. You said something like that.
Oh,
My
that's
dad's-
awesome.
he's
So
finally
you've been
been-
singing your whole life.
Whole life.
And then I'm interested in the opera situation. I have a very specific question for you, but tell me
Okay.
about the opera. Like, what got you into being interested in opera?
So it kind of came with the territory of majoring in music
Okay.
in college. So yeah, they make you take classical voice, which is opera singing.
Okay.
You know, and then they also do like oral training, or it trains your ear to hear the pitches and be able to, and then piano and all the things. So. And speaking of like writing music, I actually did learn how to write music, like sheet music and stuff
Oh, wow.
like that. But I've just noticed that's not my process now, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was part of the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to teach music, so I wasn't really majoring in it to teach it. I wanted to just do it, you know. So then I got to a point where I was like, well, is an audience member going to stop me mid-performance and be like, excuse me, do you have a degree in this? Because I need to know whether to decide if I'm enjoying this or not, you know?
Sure.
So I was like, okay, well, but yeah, so that was once I wasn't doing music in college anymore. I just did it in life. And then that's kind of where opera stopped. I do remember my vocal teacher, when I told him I was going to, you know, be doing like, I was doing pop at the time.
Okay.
I wanted to do that in LA. He was like, you know, your voice is made for opera, and it's kind of a sin to like go against what your voice
Gasp.
is made for. He was a sweetheart, and he
Yeah.
was very supportive, but I think he was a little disappointed that I wasn't going to go, you know, move to New York and be an opera singer or
Sure.
whatever. I was like, yeah, I'm going the other way.
I'm going pop.
Yeah, I was going pop at the time. And yeah, so, but I loved the feeling I would get when I would sing. Because I still do, I believe, have a coloratura voice, which is the high notes, like the screechy high notes. I would hit those notes, and it kind of like your voice sort of rings like a bell. It's the best way I could describe it. And so my voice was made for like the soprano one, like the top notes. I would sing like stuff like the magic flute, and I would sing like the crazy high, like
Yeah.
but in opera, and I would get this rush from it. It was really cool. Like, and it's a specific vocal training process to be able to hone those opera songs, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of them aren't even in English. So I was singing stuff in Italian. And,
Sure.
so there was a French one, and mostly Italian, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. It was a fun chapter of my life, you know, and I got to add it to my entire music journey, which has
Of course.
been a long one with many different chapters and many different genres that
Yeah.
I've sang.
Operas, I know very little. What I know that most of the time in like an opera performance that they're not even mic'd
Yeah.
because their voices are just that.
It's
Like,
all
yeah.
power.
It's so wild that in a huge like theater
Yeah.
that they're like, we can't mic you because
Yeah, you'll just blow everyone's eardrums out.
so insane.
I would surprise myself as to how loud I could be. And I actually think that opera music and that training comes in with the stuff I do now, because I belt on stage.
You have such a strong like.
And I used to not. Like when I was a little kid, I was just the quietest little shy, you know, and my voice was just, it was pretty, but it was quiet and little and pretty. And then I built it up.
Yeah, because you
Over
can
the years.
you can belt out some songs.
Thank
It's
you.
amazing. Okay, so did you ever see The Fifth Element? And then there's that like
I know what you're
that's
talking
what I
about.
want, like the blue like
Yeah.
because she was like. Do you think that that's possible to do like in
Breaking
real life?
glass and stuff with
Maybe not breaking glass, but like
voice.
she was.
certain pitches actually do. I've tried it before and I haven't been able to hit it just right, but
That was such a cool.
yeah, if I'm trying to remember the scene, because it's been a while, but it's like she hits these notes and then like glass breaks and stuff, right?
Yeah, but I think
And then
even
also-
just like the it was so high. Like it was just like so high, and so I would imagine it to be so loud. And I think like, I don't know why, that just was always very profound to me, because it was just like, whoa, that is such a unique thing. And then Steve and I had the opportunity to go, I don't know how we got opera tickets, but we went and saw Everest, which is in English, I think.
Okay.
Which is why we went. Do you remember going to see Everest at the Long Center? We left early. We got the opera cups from the drinks that we had there.
Oh, that was so funny.
It just wasn't our thing. It just wasn't our thing.
Yeah.
We all dressed up, had a nice dinner.
Yeah, it was great.
Right.
And, like, it started, and both of us, like, 45 seconds in, like...
We had really nice seats too. We were like,
What did we get ourselves into?
So, like...
So we're
Well, and
stuck
if
here for
you-
3 hours now.
We were going there, so it was like...
we had to
No
go.
backing
But
out
then
now.
Also, I think maybe my employer at the time gave us tickets or something. But once you can't go out and come back in, which respect the art, totally get that. But we were like, let's go out and not come back in. But opera's like all,
Yeah.
Like, that's not gonna be a problem for us.
Yeah. We will not choose to come back in, but
we
thank
were
you
just like, okay, we'll go.
for the
Yeah.
opportunity.
I think we made it through intermission, and then
That counts.
I had to go to the bathroom.
Check it off
and
the
it was
bucket
like,
list.
Yeah, we
Mission
went.
accomplished.
You bitched the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. However, the talent is incredible, and that's how I was like,
Yeah.
they weren't mic'd, and I was just like, that's fascinating to me.
Yes.
All in the, it's all in the belly,
In the belly.
diagram or the diaphragm.
Diaphragm. It's all in the diaphragm, and then it comes all the way up. I mean, okay, so you've got chest voice. The power in the air comes from the diaphragm, right? But you got your chest voice, which is where belting comes from, right?
Okay.
You've got your mid range, which is kind of like, well, your the middle notes, right? And then you got your head voice, which is the highest notes.
Oh, okay.
And you can make them all loud. You can make them all ring out with a lot of practice and stuff. But
yeah.
yeah, it is really cool. And I did learn a lot from majoring in music and the all the components of where this voice comes from and how to make the best of it and how to make it my true voice as opposed to like something I'm trying to imitate that I heard another one of my favorite singers on the radio. Like, oh, I'm gonna try to sing like them. Like, you got to find your voice.
Yeah.
And that took a long time, honestly, to figure out what my voice is.
Yeah, I bet. Well, because you grow up listening to music,
Right.
and what you're supposed to sound like, or trained even at a young age. Because I would imagine too that like vocal coaches have their own idea.
Right.
So like, at what point do you find your own voice? That's got to be a journey in and of itself.
And I think it's lifelong, to be honest, because my
Sure.
voice has changed so many times through each, I call them chapters, you
Yeah.
know, of my music journey. So, yeah, now I'm belting more than I ever did, but I
Love that.
used to sing like in head voice most of the time, where it was like nice and airy and pretty, and then I sang opera for a while, so that was somewhere in between, you know, and
Yeah.
now I'm more into the belting, which is more rock, more bluesy,
Yeah.
more grit, you know, and like soul in there,
Yeah.
because it's what my soul needs, I think, right now. I think I've spent a lot of my life being nice. And nice is good.
Yeah.
And I'm a kind person. But I've realized in the last, I don't know how many, few years, that there's a difference between being nice and being kind. It's good to be kind. Be kind, right? Be kind to people. But being nice is being that people pleasing, you know, I'm going to put myself in the back seat and I'm going to put other people's what they want from me and what they think I should be and how I should sing and how I should act and what my music genre should be and what I should wear and how I should do my hair and blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And then I just got to a point where I'm like, enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to belt my songs and it's almost like there's a lot of like repressed like anger.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, just that little girl I kept just quiet for a long time is like done being quiet.
I love that.
And that's where
love
this
that.
band is coming from. I think that's where this genre is coming from. It's like, this is what my soul and my music journey need right now to feel empowered, maybe even for the first time ever.
I love that. It's like
you know,
therapy.
Yeah, because there's been agents and managers and everyone always in my ear telling me what to do, the right way to do a career and what I'm supposed to do. And I'm like, you know what? Thank you. And I've learned, and it's been a journey, and I'm grateful for the lessons. But I'm ready to just be my fucking self now,
I
bro.
love that. Yeah. Yeah.
And scream it from the rooftops.
Yeah. What in that like vulnerable? Like we were talking about being vulnerable early. So to like earlier and like to be able to do that with the band that you trust to like support and love that voice and be like, yeah, let's and the song at 3 a.m. that you wrote and it needs to sound like this. Like
and to see them getting excited too because their
Yes.
voices are being heard as well. Like we're all putting things together as a group and yeah, it's cathartic. I mean, music really is medicine.
It is. And it's like people reach, like you seek it out. Like as someone who's not a musician that like, if you're having like, like your music follows your mood. So like maybe you had like a kick-ass day at work and it's just like, I don't know, want to hear some like fun, like just like
happy top of the world.
Yeah.
Like, anything's possible kind of song. Yeah.
Or if you're like sad and you need some like, I need to cry kind of music.
Why don't you come on over, Valerie?
Oh, Valerie. Oh, Valerie. Oh, Valerie.
Or I want to feel better. And like music is, people go to music. It's so fascinating. And even like kids, I was talking about our nephew stay with us sometimes. And like we were he was taking a bath and I was like, and he loves music. And I was like, what do you want to listen to? And he goes, rock and roll. And I was like, that is
We'd
so
be friends.
cool. And he's like, I was like, you want Leonard Skinner? And he was like, yeah. And like, he knew like songs like by Leonard Skinner. That's all his Nana, like they were singing. And then she said, she asked me,
sounds awesome though.
oh, he's very cool. And then she was like, did you play Splish Splash while he was taking a bath? And I was like, no.
Missed opportunity.
Next time.
Next time.
But like, how cool is that even he's asking for like songs, you know, like
what he needs, you
Yeah,
know,
which
or what
is-
he wants
yeah,
to have fun.
yeah, to have fun in the bathtub is like Leonard Skinner, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, but how cool is that?
That's music has always been like my best friend is a way I can describe it, I guess. I mean, since I was little, music was always my company, you know, it was there for me. And I was like I said, I was a really shy kid. I didn't I mean, like I'd had friends, you know, but I'd prefer to have like my one friend that I would talk to, and I'd kind of in a group I'd be more quiet and just sort of like overwhelmed because it's just like too much. So music and being outside and being with animals were like my thing. That was like most of the time I was also in a tree. And I had my book and my notebook and I was always writing. So music was my best friend, and whatever I was going through in my life, there was always a song for it to keep me company, to make me feel like, okay, I'm not alone in this, whatever thing that I'm going through, because this song, you know, is the exact same story that I'm going through, or very similar. So I don't feel alone, and so I feel better. And as I was growing up and realizing, okay, I want to do this, I wanted to pay that forward. I wanted my songs that I create at 3 a.m. or whatever time from my heart to be other people's company, to be other people's best friend when they need that company of a song, really.
No, it
Who
is.
understands them.
And I think from just like such a young age, we're taught that music is comforting. I mean, lullabies are written for children to fall asleep to. You know, it's like you can always kind of lean into music and the art, you know, the words or the melody or the whatever it is that I'm sure for every person and every song is different, but it like feels like home in a way. Yeah. Like in yourself, which is so cool. Yeah. It's so cool. So you take all of that, you put it in a box and you create a band, and then you need to like make money, I guess, out of it, or hope that's the goal, right? Is to like live off of rock and roll. Maybe not. Maybe it's just,
I mean, it'd be nice to not have to do other stuff. But at the same time, the other stuff a lot of times links into what I'm doing, and it gives a more wide range of what's possible and the people I meet. Especially being an introvert and more of a hermit type person. I kind of need that push to like, you know, get out in the world. But yeah, honestly, the number one goal for me is to get the music out there.
Yeah.
And if I make money at it, great. As long as I can eat and have a roof over my head, I'm happy. But it's more about getting the music out to the world.
Yeah.
And the way I know that this is for sure the thing that is in my heart and soul and whatever, is I had a dream. I was thinking about this. I was like, oh, I want to tell you this story.
Yeah, tell me.
A few years back, I had a dream that I was in a doctor's office or something, and the doctor had just told me, okay, so you have 3 months left to live.
Okay.
I don't know what my deal was, but I was dying. And I had 3 months. So the very first thing I said when I got that news was, okay, well, I'm going to sing for as many people as I possibly can with this time that I have left. And then I woke up and I was like, at the time I was kind of struggling with like, okay, this is around the age where I should, supposed to get married, have kids, start doing that. But I was struggling with like, do I start making some decisions and choices in my life to go down that like traditional road, or do I just keep doing this music thing? Not that it's an either or thing, but in a lot of ways, especially if you have kids, it kind of is an either or thing. But so I was kind of grappling with that, and then I go to sleep, and my subconscious comes through, and it's like, or my soul really, tells me like, okay, so here's your answer. And so when I woke up, I'm like, yeah, that seems about right,
Yeah.
And then I wasn't stressing about like, all right, well, it's marriage and kids, and I got to do the thing. I'm like, no, I'm here to do music.
I love that.
And let the other chips fall where they may, but music is the mission. So
here you are.
So here we are.
So I think like you were talking earlier about like the streams and the all the stuff like how would you measure success for you as a band at this point?
Honestly, it's not in anything dealing with numbers. It's more with what people tell me. So they'll be like, so during the pandemic, for example, I would get messages when we were all on lockdown and no one could go anywhere. A lot of people were depressed and even in a very dark places. Part of me kind of loved it because I'm an introvert. I'm like, I can just be home and I don't have to like feel that need to like, I got to go out and do the things. So I just did a lot of work from home. But a lot of people were in really dark places, and they would message me and say, look, they didn't say look, they would just say, I want you to know your music is the only thing that made me smile today.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like I was listening to it today, and it made me like feel hopeful, and it made me feel happy, and I'm like, done.
Success.
Like done. Yeah. Sing for as many people as I possibly can. And the goal with that is that you spread some love, you spread some understanding, some like, okay, that they don't feel alone in this situation they're going through.
Best friend.
Yeah, their best friend. I'm here to be people's best friend. Remotely through music. Yeah. In my introverted world, I will create a song, put it out in the world, and then hope people get some love, some joy out of it.
I love that.
I've had some people that have emailed me and say, hey, I'm gonna walk down the aisle to your cover of Can't Help Falling in Love.
Oh, cool. 3
different brides to be have done that, and I was like, that's amazing. Like I get to be part of their special day. I've never met these people in my life. I probably never will, but it's like that's the beauty of music, like the power to connect and realize like we're not alone in this weird life experience.
And you never know like who you're going to touch. Like Steve and I have always been, it's a band called Trampled by Turtles, and I know we've talked about Swimming with Bears. There's something about like animal but Trampled by
I
Turtles.
Love turtles are kind of like one of my spirit animals.
The lead singer's name is Dave Simonette, and we followed him to a couple of concerts in Oregon. Like we got really into them.
Cool.
And the song that was special to us at our wedding was a song called oh my gosh, it's escaping me. Just a second. Tell me. I know.
He's offended.
I can hear it in my head. Hold on, it'll come.
Wedding song.
In Between It's You and Me. What is it? What's the name of the song then? Yeah, okay, but
I thought you were on it.
Anyway,
I thought you were offended. She couldn't remember. Like I don't know either.
God, it's gonna bother me. Anyway,
it'll come to you when you're not.
It will. But
on.
it was alone. It was called Alone.
Oh, by heart.
Yeah. No, well,
A different song?
it's a
Okay.
different. Yeah,
Okay.
I think he wrote the song. Dave
Okay, okay.
Simonet did.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my bad.
But we saw him at Stubbs because we were like, oh my God, Trampled by Turtles are in town. So we went and saw him.
Cool.
And we stayed, we knew somebody that worked there at the time. So he gave us VIP tickets. It was very, very cool.
Uh-huh.
And that's him. He's
Okay.
very incredible. It's a bluegrass. Yeah, it's beautiful. That's at Red Rocks. That's so cool. But we saw him after the concert and we went up to him. We were just about to get married. We'll be married 10 years in December.
Uh-huh.
And we were like, we're going to play Alone at our wedding. And he was like, his reaction was so cool. And like to us, we were just like, oh my God, we idolize you. And he was just so humbled in that moment. And like, I was like, whoa, like it was so
Those are the moments.
cool. Like,
Whether a musician knows it or not, those are the moments that really make us feel like, okay, all of this that we're doing is worth it because we're making, we're spreading love and happiness and whatever in people's lives.
yeah. So it was so cool. Like, and just like the response of his response was so humbled. And and we were just like so humbled that he was even talking to us, and it was just like this really cool, like odd moment. And then we accidentally asked like the lead guitarist, who's like also the head of the band, to like,
Okay.
we're like, can you take a picture of us? And, like, and then we realized who we asked to take the picture, and we were like, oh, we totally messed up because we were.
But
all,
did he do it? Was he cool?
Oh,
about
he's
it?
so cool. They're all
See, that's better. That's
musicians are
awesome.
so cool. Like, y'all are the coolest people.
I'm a little biased, but yes, I agree.
Yeah. So are you, Tarah New of Tarah New and the Crew, working on any giant projects right now? Like, what's the next big thing to come up?
Yes. Well, we've got a couple shows coming up.
Okay.
We're doing a show at Cabana Club December 13th, Friday the 13th.
Okay.
We picked that on purpose because it's cool.
Cool.
And then another one at Hole in the Wall, January 8th.
Love it.
So I'll be posting on my Instagram like details for those. So those are the shows we've got coming up as of now. I'm constantly like promoting us, trying to get us more shows. So
Yeah.
more will be coming down the pipeline. But the other thing we're doing, we just released our first single, Motorcycle Man.
Love it.
As a band, our first single as a band. So it's on all streaming platforms. So check it out, Motorcycle Man. I've got the link in my bio on Instagram as well.
Okay.
And then the thing we're doing now, we've got one more film day for the Motorcycle Man music video.
Oh my gosh.
So that's next week. So that'll be like the scenes of the band actually playing the song, live. And so we've got motorcycle riding scenes and then the band doing the song and
Very
me
cool.
singing it. And so, so those are the things that are coming up now. And then we've got another song that we're almost done recording called Keep On Coming Back to You, which will be our second single release as a band.
Very cool.
So that'll be coming down the pipeline as well.
Nice.
So,
Congrats.
all good things. We're just consistently, plugging away and doing what we love. And
Yeah. You're always
like,
moving
okay.
things forward.
always
it seems
moving
like.
Yeah, I'm always like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
What's next? I'm always asking myself, like, all right, what's the next priority? And then just focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to do like 5, 6, 7, 10 things at a time.
Yeah.
most of the time.
And then make, have a job and
Right. And
a
then
social life
also
and-
pay my bills and
yeah, just the normal,
try to like do my laundry sometimes.
which is
and-
also hard. Like all the stuff.
like there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah, we were talking to his name's Dr. Jeff. He's a podiatrist. He lives here in Easton Park. And he was talking about like decision fatigue, that like at a certain point like in the day that like even the smallest decision of like, do I want to do my laundry or not? It's like the most annoying decision. And like that your mind is just after a while just like
Just fried.
done.
Yeah.
And it's like these little things of like where you're just like, I don't know, like I'll do my
Yeah.
laundry tomorrow, and then you're decision fatigued the next day, and then like suddenly you have no laundry. Like, you're
Right.
like, dang
Yeah.
it, now I have to. But then that's not a decision; it's a need. Like
Right.
I operate a lot like that, where I'm just like, I'll put it off, and then it's like, we got to do this thing because we need clean clothes.
Totally. I have noticed that. So I'm like, okay, I want to try to plan everything. And I have a to-do list every day for the most part because my ADD brain, I'm like, okay, where am I? Look at the list. Okay. It gets
Yeah.
me back on track. But a lot of times I think the priorities will present themselves when the time
Yeah,
is right. So in a lot of ways, it's sort of the work, the organization of the work will present itself, and it will get done in the time because,
yeah,
we know ourselves and we're like, all right, well, yes, I'm exhausted, and okay, but tomorrow maybe I need some laundry or whatever, and okay, I'll like passively watch TV, and during commercial breaks I'll go and change out the laundry, and then
Yeah.
I'll just sort of, and you can make it like that's my laundry process, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
So it doesn't overwhelm me or stress me out, but it's all a balance,
Yeah.
And I've had to get much better at checking in with myself, like, all right, Tara, where's our energy at? Where's our bandwidth at? What do we got left? Do we have anything left? Because then I'm gonna get sick. If I burn out, then
Right.
I was getting sick because I was just pedal to the metal 100 miles an hour until I would just get sick. And I'm like, oh, I guess I pushed myself too far.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the
So-
body just stops.
The body just stops.
Yeah. And you can't,
Yeah.
then you're screwed.
Yeah. And then you lose even more time. You're like,
Right.
well, that was stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Just
that's
checking
important.
in with myself, I think, has been.
And that's a skill that like we're not taught, or it's not built in. Like what it takes is like it happening,
Yeah.
and you're like, oof, I'm burnt out.
Right.
Like, and you got to make the boundary of like, I'm off today. I'm not doing anything today.
Right.
Or like, or even just this afternoon or whatever. And like, people need to respect that because, or
Yeah.
I guess it's really not people, it's you. You need to respect that for yourself.
Right. And then people will treat you the way, that you present things. So like I'll get to a point where maybe after 10 p.m. I won't respond to text messages until
Yeah.
the next morning.
Yeah.
And they'll start to understand like, oh, I don't usually hear from her after 10, so I'll just talk to her
won't.
tomorrow, as opposed to sending me an 11 p.m. text message
Sure.
about a thing that they remember, which is totally fine. It just means
Sure.
I'll respond to it at 11 a.m. After
Yeah.
I've had my coffee and I
Yeah.
can see colors again.
Right. Right. So for Tara New and the crew, like if you could close your eyes now and dream about like 3 years from now, what does that look like for you?
Hopefully a lot of music that we've been already released by that point, because that is my main goal, to just release as much music as possible so it is accessible to the world, because these are stories I feel like will help people not feel alone, and
Yeah.
all that what we
Be their
talked
best
about.
friend, yeah.
Right, be their best friend. So that's probably number one thing. I wouldn't mind doing like mini tours. I know myself though, that I give everything I have for a show. So usually the next 24 hours I'm useless, because I have all my energy that audience got, whether it was 60,000 people or 10.
Yeah.
I just give it everything. So
Yeah.
here's my entire heart. I hope you like it.
Yeah.
And
You'll
then,
see me in 48 hours.
right. Yeah, basically, because it's like right after I'm just dead to the world. So tours make me nervous if it's like someone else, like, okay, you're going to do 5 nights of shows in a row. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Because I will not be able to give them my best self,
Yeah.
and I will probably get sick. So I need a show, and then a rest day, and then a show, and then a rest day. That would probably be. So I mean, I could see a tour as long as it was like on my terms.
Yeah.
But a lot of, myself included, and my bandmates, we have jobs that are local to Austin. So it wouldn't be the end of the world if we didn't do a tour. If we do like a one-off here and a one-off there,
Sure.
that'd be perfect. But I would like to just mostly release music, and then do shows. Maybe once a week or a couple of times a month or something, and just really make them count. Give them all we got. Invite everyone and their mother, and
Yeah. 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 It seems like bands, we are lucky enough to like know a lot of like local Austin bands who have the same kind of sentiment anymore of like, let's release music. Let's go in the studio. Let's produce music, do a couple shows. But like at a certain point, you either have to say like, from what I understand is like, we're going to be a touring band,
right.
or we're going to produce and release music. And it seems like after COVID, so many people are like going this like produce and release
Totally.
music. And I get it. It can't be comfortable to like tour. And I only know because like the Bears, so
Right.
the Bears, when they would tour, they would be like, tour is not, there's nothing glamorous about it. It's long and you're in a van and it stinks and you got to load and unload and load and unload. And like, they would go shower. Like they were all really smart. They got, they would sleep in the van. There's no money either. Like they're not paying you to tour. They're paying you for this. You still got to get there.
And hotels are expensive.
Yeah. So they would sleep in the van, but they all got
Gym
the
memberships.
Planet Fitness. Yes. $10 a month.
Dude, I live that world.
Yeah. And they'd go shower and like That's where they would shower. They'd sleep in the parking lot
Uh-huh.
because they're usually lit. And
Yeah.
then they'd go shower at Planet Fitness. And that's and they were like,
Yeah.
and when they started getting girlfriends, the girlfriends would be like, oh, we want to go on tour. And they're like, no, you
Trust me, you don't.
don't. You don't.
Just,
Like, you don't want to sleep in a van.
you will never look at me the same. Like,
Yeah. They're like, you don't want to sleep in a van with 4 guys and then and maybe 2 girls come. They're like, it's not what you think. We're not,
There's really
the
nothing.
Doors. Like,
Yeah.
Or like, and it's not what you've seen in the movies. Like,
Exactly.
and you're gonna need a Planet Fitness membership. Like,
Yeah.
it's not.
There's
excellent.
not a glamour. It's gritty for sure, and it's something everyone should do in spurts or here and there. But as far as it being a lifestyle, it's really not. And especially I know my personality, and I'm the type that needs a lot of quiet, alone time.
Yeah.
And you just don't get that on tour. So I'm like, I would not be a fun person to be around.
Sure.
And
Sure.
that would come through in the performances
shows.
and
Yeah.
the shows. So I wouldn't want to do the audience like that. So I'd rather just one-offs, here and there. I can prepare, have my energy, give them all I got,
Yeah.
go home to my own quiet space by myself, rest, and then give it all I got in another 24 hours or 48.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's got to be just, especially for introverts in the human resource world. Like, we talk about this a lot with people in their development of like, introverts do need recharge time. Like this to me is energizing. Whereas to you, it's probably depleting. Like, you're going to go home and be like, this, it's like probably like a show, like where you're like,
I'm having fun, but I know
Yeah.
there's a social battery.
That will hit the end and then you have to replenish it.
Totally.
And I think that knowing yourself as a musician, being like, I can play one show every 3rd night and give it be the best show ever is like, that's such a gift to the audience too, because otherwise it's forcing, like you said earlier, is like when it becomes like a chore or like when you're doing it for the money or for the numbers or whatever, then it's like, then you're stressed and you burn out and it
comes through,
Yeah.
and then they'll feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the best thing you can give to the audience is your full authentic self. And it's on you to figure out who that is.
Yeah.
And to get in touch with that person and be like, okay, this is who I am and this is how I do my best work. And I've only recently figured that out. So
yeah. And I think that like for anyone going through life is like your authentic self might change as like different chapters
you're
come.
constantly evolving who you are as a person.
And that's exhausting too, is like I'm trying to develop my new authentic self or my 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever. And like, that's energy and time and vulnerability and all of those things. So
yeah.
I think
and then
awesome.
you write about it in a song and you share that journey with the world.
And you want to give it your whole authentic self at that time too. Like, it's like a cycle. I think it's so cool. Tara, thank you so much.
Oh my
This has
gosh,
been
thank
fun.
you for having me.
Is there
really
anything
fun.
else you want to chat about?
I think we covered. I told you about my dream, which I wanted to tell you
Yeah.
about. What we're doing with the band. So that's, I guess, the whole point is I want to spread my music with everyone. So whoever's watching this, we're on Spotify.
Excellent.
Just search. It's just under my name right now. I'll eventually do a Spotify for the band, but because I built such a career up to that point of just this brand new band, I'm still kind of piggybacking off like my name. But yeah, just Tarah New on all the streaming platforms, and Instagram is the main social media that I keep up with.
Okay.
And post anything about shows or upcoming whatever we're doing on Instagram. And then I guess YouTube would be the other one.
3 dead and the crash on the number 4. 2 witnesses blowing up high. I'm not sure whose will be done. You can call me a sinner for wondering why.